welcome to the Cultivating Calmness Podcast. Today, I want to talk about inner peace. What exactly is inner peace? How do we get there? How can we accomplish that task? Is it even possible? And I think that it can be, and it is an active choice sometimes that you have to make, and you have to be an active participant in being able to find your inner peace. So what exactly is inner peace? Depending on what article you read or what source you look up, inner peace is generally defined as some form of deliberate state of psychological and or spiritual calm, despite being in the presence of or the potential for some kind of stress or stressor or stressful situation. So many of us have probably been in that type of situation where we are among stress and we don't have a choice in the matter, whether that we're there or that the stress is part of our lives. And sometimes those stresses are little, and sometimes those stresses are huge. And what do we do about that? Well, the idea of inner peace is not that you get rid of all your stress completely, although you could theoretically be able to do that. But when you cannot get away from stress and you cannot change other people and change your circumstances, there are choices that you have to make to be able to find that peace within yourself. And that peace within yourself is really going to help in your healing and being able to improve your life in some way. There are probably many ways that if you are listening or watching, that you probably would like to heal in your life today. I know personally, I have many ways that I would like to improve my life and heal. And part of that is consistency. It's being an active participant in that process. It's acknowledging what isn't exactly right or good or where you would like to be and finding the way to get there. So the inner peace is like that, finding your inner peace. Really, I talk about this with my clients, but I don't usually call it inner peace. So when I was thinking about talking about this subject today, I decided to talk about it being called inner peace, but really when I talk with my clients, it's about filling your cup. What is going to bring you that sense of self and awareness and calm and joy so that you can do the things that you need to do in life. And I know I've talked about finding the ability to fill your cup here on this podcast before. So I didn't want to, talk about the same subject, but part of finding your peace is filling your cup, right? If you are healthy, your cup is already being filled. It may not be completely filled. So if you are physically unhealthy, mentally unhealthy, spiritually, unhealthy or unwell, you're losing through your cup. It's like we poked holes in your cup, right? So we're trying to fill those holes, fill the gaps, heal, make it whole again, and continue to fill that up so that you can pour out to others if you need to, pour more into yourself in the things that you're doing if you need to. So how exactly do we find inner peace? Well, many ways you can do it. You can do all of these things I'm going to talk about today. You could just do one of these things. Now, the less you do, I guess technically maybe the less likely you are to find true peace within yourself. But really, when you think about finding peace, it's a level of acceptance of what is. So if you are in some circumstances that you cannot control, right? You are, dealing with family stress and people not agreeing with you or arguing with you or having a disappointment in you, fill in the blank, right? We could go on forever about all the stress and all the problems that exist in our world or in your own individual lives. But there will come a point in time where you can fight the system, fight the stress that's going on. I know I've experienced this, and I can sit here and I can complain with my husband about an issue with somebody that we have a relationship with, or we can set a boundary, or we can come to some level of acceptance of like, this is this is how this person behaves, or the things that they do, and there's nothing that you or I is going to be able to do about that. And so at that point, if we've accepted that, we have to make a choice. Are we willing to continue that relationship? Do we maybe need to set some boundaries or some limits within that relationship to protect us, right? That is going to protect our peace. Being able to accept what is, because we can't change other people. It's not something within my control to change you, right? I can set limits, and maybe that will cause you to make a decision to change, but I cannot make you make the change. And if you drink alcohol and I have a problem with that, and I don't want you around, or I don't like that you're doing it, I might have to set a limit. Hey, you're not allowed around me, or I won't be around you if you are drinking. I can't make you stop drinking, so I started to say you're not allowed around me. I can't stop you necessarily from coming to see me, but I can stop myself from coming to see you. Okay? So acceptance is a big piece of like coming to some kind of peace within yourself and your situation. So to back that up a little bit, being mindful. Mindfulness is being present in the moment, and again, acknowledging what is and acceptance of what is. So if you're feeling a certain way, mindfulness is being able to acknowledge that feeling without judgment. So yes, I am feeling anxious. This is where the anxiety is coming from, and I'm going to sit with that, and I'm going to be present with that, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole and then and what if, right? I'm just going to be like, whew, this is where I'm feeling that anxiety. My heart is racing, my hands are tight, I'm sweating, I can't think straight, my mind is going a million miles a minute. Mindfulness is trying to center that. It's trying to be present. It's trying to slow it down and like, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm feeling. I'm going to feel myself breathing. So breathing's another one. If you want to find peace, let's get your body centered. Let's focus on some deep breathing. Slow and steady wins the race. So deep breathing is hard. And I talk to all my clients about this and my kids. And, when you're mad or you're upset, you really don't want to do it. But it does help, right? It helps your brain to think more clearly. It helps you to be in a better state of mind, which gets you to a place of inner peace. So breathing, mindfulness, visualizations. So visualizing a peaceful place. This is another exercise I do with many of my clients. I've done this exercise myself. I've heard many clients and them describe their peaceful places. I would say a lot of them are maybe similar. A lot of them have to do with nature. Why do you think when we visualize places, we visualize places of nature? Well, because nature is grounding, right? Nature is a positive influence on us, whether we're talking about like Alaska and the snow, or we're talking about the desert, or we're talking about the beach or the mountains. It's nature. It brings a calming presence to most all of us. So usually when people visualize something, it's something related to nature. I know mine usually has to do with a beach. Well, beach, mountains, waterfalls. I do happen to really like the desert. So although when I think of a peaceful place, I usually think of waterfalls and beaches and things of that nature. It's soothing and calming to me. So you have to think about something that's soothing and calming to you. Get that visual and then use your five senses. I start with what I can see, anything I can see in my place. As far as the eye can see, and then consider like, are there people that I can see? Are there items there? What parts of nature are there? Then what can I hear? So if it's the beach, do I hear the waves crashing? Are there people? Are there seagulls? Do I hear my feet walking in the water or on the sand or crunching on leaves? Can I hear my breathing? The wind, that type of thing. What do I feel? So again, it can be like my feet in the sand, the water, the temperature, the wind, the clothes I'm wearing. And then the last two are a little harder usually to kind of visualize, but what can I smell and what can I taste? So depending on where you are and what you're doing, those senses tend to be less than the other senses. And that's just normally what people tend to experience, unless you're in like a kitchen and that's your peaceful place. You may imagine tasting and smelling different things in a kitchen. But you know, your peaceful place can be whatever. It doesn't even have to be realistic. It can be completely made up, like living on the clouds, you know, and there's an oven and the grandma's cookies are coming out of the oven. Like, it doesn't matter. It's your peaceful place. It's what is going to bring you peace of mind, help you be centered, help you to be mindful and present, and to be in a relaxed, calm state, despite the chaos and the stress that's going on around you in your life. Finding the joy in your life, joy and gratitude, they are different, but finding things to be joyful about, things that excite you, things that bring you happiness. And then also, I talk a lot about finding gratitude, things that you're grateful for. And, I personally could probably do a better job at this. You're finding every morning, maybe waking up and finding 2 things that you are grateful for from the day before, or ending your day on a grateful note. The more you do that and the more you practice finding things to be grateful for, the easier it is to think more positively. Because it's really easy to think negatively. It's really easy for us to latch onto and pick out all the negative parts of our day. It's harder to find the positives. So I have a couple clients this week who've recently been on vacations, and, vacations, even though they're supposed to be fun and relaxing, can be very stressful. And the focus was, okay, despite all the stress, what was good? Can we find the good within the stress? Can we find the things to be grateful for, so that when we look back on our vacation, that we're not only remembering the bad stuff about it, that we can also remember the good stuff. And maybe those can be the things that stand out. Again, that brings us a sense of peace and calm and not stress. So it's not saying that the stress doesn't exist. It's saying, can I find the other things too? Can I see the other things that are going on in my life besides just the stress? What can you do? Finding things to do that fill your cup, that bring you peace. Is it going to a coffee shop alone and reading a book? Is it going for a walk? Is it going to the Humane Society and petting the animals? Is it volunteering? Is it, serving others, doing something to help others, or to make other people smile or happy? You have to be careful with that one sometimes. Sometimes people pour into other people so much that they drain themselves completely. I want you to serve others. I want you to find joy in helping others, but not to your own detriment. So be aware of that. Think about that. Is the things that you're doing to help others draining you completely? If so, you might need to take a step back from some of that for the time being, until you have gotten yourself into a healthier, better, more peaceful state of mind, and a peaceful place, and more healed place for you. Let's see. There was something I learned about, I guess I've known about it. I didn't know the person that created it, but it's called ACT, A-C-T. And this was kind of thought of or researched by the researcher on self-compassion, Kristin Neff. And ACT stands for acknowledgement. So A for acknowledgement. So acknowledging what is, acknowledging what you're feeling, what's going on, the facts of the matter. Then connecting, which is that recognition that you are not alone, that there are others out there just like you, experiencing similar things as you, connecting to that piece of you and the world. And then T for talking kindly to yourself, and being more positive to yourself. We have the tendency to beat ourselves up. How could you do that? You're so stupid. What a terrible person. You're so wrong, etc., etc., etc. We could talk all day long about the negative things we say to ourselves, but do you ever say something positive to yourself? Hey, good job. Woo, you didn't yell. Oh, that felt much better reacting that way. Ooh, okay. That turned out much better than I thought. Oh, I did a really good job there. Oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. Being positive can go a long way. And I'm not saying you have to lie. I don't want you to lie. If you have a struggle with self-image, I'm not going to tell you to go look in a mirror and say, hey, beautiful, because you're not going to believe that. If you don't feel beautiful to begin with, telling yourself a lie isn't going to make you believe it. Now, some people believe different than me, and you are more than happy, more than welcome to disagree with me. I have found that it's more helpful to be honest with yourself. So maybe you don't think you're beautiful, but maybe you like your hair or your eyes or your nose or your toes or whatever. I bet there's one thing you could find about yourself that you do like, and then we will focus on that, and we will embellish that, and we will make that part of yourself look good. So that when you do look in the mirror, you can say, I really like my hair, right? And if that's the only thing you like, okay. If doing your hair then every day is going to make you feel good about yourself, then that's what I want you to do. I want you to do your hair every day, right? You could be wearing the crappiest t-shirt ever, but if you did your hair and it makes you feel good, then that's what I want you to focus on, right? So doing things that are going to boost you up and make you feel good and acknowledging the positives in your life are going to be a big step in the right direction. Another thing that comes up commonly with my clients and people that I talk to, it's like, what you can and cannot control often turns into a conversation about that's a them problem, not a you problem, right? So you set a boundary with somebody and they're going to react. They're not going to be happy with you. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. Your problem is, how do I deal with that reaction? Do I ignore it? Do I set another boundary? If I'm doing what's best for me and my peace and my well-being, whatever is going on over there is on them. I can't control that. So if they are hurt by something that I've said or something that I've done, we can get into the minutia of that, which we're not going to on here. Because maybe you could have said something wrong or hurtful, but still a person's reaction is a person's reaction. It's theirs, not yours, not your problem. Now, if you have a relationship with that person, you may have to, have better communication and try to work that out. What I'm focusing on is, if you set a boundary and you say, hey, we're not doing that, and they don't like that answer and they feel hurt or offended by that, what I talk to people about is like, that's something they have to work on. What you have to work on is you. Why you set that boundary, how it's going to benefit you, what joy or what peace it's going to bring to your life. And the them piece is going to have to work itself out, whether that's through your boundaries or distance or them changing something, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And whenever I say that, I think of The King and I. So if you've ever watched The King and I, you know what I'm talking about. I think I covered many of the things that I wanted to get to when I talk about that. Finding your peace is being truthful, about the circumstances. So it's not embellishing, it's not minimizing, it's not blowing things out of proportion. It's just saying like, this is what is. These are the facts. Right? This is what happened. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I can expect to happen. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole of all the what ifs. It's just, this is the truth, right? So when you say, I'm stupid, I want to say, well, what are the facts? How do you know you're stupid? And how do you know you're not stupid? And which one's going to be more honest? Which one's going to tell you the truth? Which one is going to get you the more accurate statement? Oh, well, no, maybe I made a stupid mistake. Maybe I made a stupid choice. I am not stupid. That happens. So finding your inner peace is being able to get to a place in your mind and in your body, spiritually, physically, mentally, of kind of being at ease and being calm, even though there's a bunch of stuff going on. And so maybe that's moment to moment. Maybe it's not an all day, a whole life thing. Maybe it's just, I need to find some inner peace right now because everything else around me is chaotic. See if you can practice that this week. Maybe right now. Practice finding some inner peace for yourself, despite whatever else is going on. And does that moment or few moments of peace brighten your day, make it easier to handle the situations that are going on? Hopefully it does. Let me know in the comments. Message me. Tell me what you think. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again next week.